Hey friends, Jim Heskett here, and I am just going to give you a quick video update about Micah and Layne Get Short. I'm going to do a quick Q&A based on some questions that were sent to me, and if anybody happens to have a question while I'm doing this live, feel free to throw it as a comment down below, and I'll be happy to answer it. So I got a few questions that came in, and because of a problem with the post, I can't show the actual comment. I have to show it just here within the software. You don't care about that. But so one of the questions I got was, what stories are in Micah and Layne Get Short? Which characters? You'll see Micah and Layne Get Short. The cover is right up there. It's reversed, hard to see. And it's Micah and Layne Get Short 15 thriller stories. And so people have been asking me, what are the stories about? Who stars in them? So I'm gonna tell you what characters are in Micah and Layne Get Short. So the first story is called Eat the Bear. It's a brand new novella featuring Micah, Reed, and Serena Rojas, who I haven't had them team up before, but they team up and go to New Orleans to stop a threat. I think that's all I want to say about it. The next novella, and Eat the Bear, is brand new. Nobody's ever read it before. The next thing in Micah and Layne Get Short is Game Day, which is a novella that I previously published in an anthology last year called The Dead of Winter, but that's not, that anthology is no longer out there, but I still wanted to republish Game Day, and that has Micah and Layne in it. The third story, it's a little bit short to be a novella. It's like 7 or 8,000 words. I think you call it a novelette because it's too long for a short story. Is called Micah Goes on a Date, which I just told you what that was about. Of course, it's not just him, eating dinner. He goes on a date in the restaurant he's eating at, gets robbed. And so, of course, Micah has to just get involved in the proceedings because that's what he does. The next thing are the 5 Lane Parish restaurant stories, and you might remember I published these briefly like a year or two ago. I was at one point where I had nothing to do and I was waiting for a beta reader to send me feedback, so I just sat down and wrote a bunch of variations on a theme, a literary version of that. Lane walks into a restaurant and then crazy stuff happens. And then the rest of the stories are things that don't directly feature Micah and Layne. There's a brand new short story that I wrote featuring Harry Bukadakis and Serena Rojas, and that is called I'll Be Right Back. And that one was, I had the idea for this story just like a couple weeks ago and wrote it in a couple days and then threw it in because I was excited about it. It's a very, very fun thriller short story with Harry and Serena. There's also I Go by Tim. And all the rest of the stuff is stuff that's been out there for a while. There's I Go by Tim, Instant Message, which Instant Message features Tucker Candle from the Whistleblower trilogy. I Go by Tim is a thriller short story. Then there's Instant Message, Shots and Strippers, which is kind of a crime short story about some guys who get drunk and invite some strippers over one night, and then bad stuff happens. Which that's pretty much all my stories. XYZ, and then some bad stuff happens. Then there's Kill the King, which is a novella. It's kind of a silly thriller. It's hard to describe, about a royal food taster who's trying to poison a king. There's Dalton and a Bear, which is an offshoot of my Reagan's Ashes story. And then there's one more bonus surprise. Are these stories new or previously published? About half of the material in Micah and Layne Get Short is brand new, never been seen before. And about half of it is previously published stuff. So Lynn Jones said, wonderful short stories. I love Micah and Layne. I think Layne comes out on top. Really? Okay. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on who they like better, Micah or Layne. So the Lisa Badger asked me, who will I collaborate with next? And it's kind of outside the scope of Micah and Layne Get Short, but I can tell you that I've talked to a few authors about possibly collaborating on projects in the future. And all I can say is that, I don't want to give anybody false hope, but I think the odds are that if and when I collaborate with another author again, most likely it would be Nick Thacker. He and I have talked about doing some, I can't give any spoilers, but doing some let's say, continuations of stuff that we've already worked on. What does that mean? I can't tell you. Another question that I didn't get, but I know is going to come up is in Micah and Layne Get Short, where are these stories set on Micah's and Layne's respective timelines? And I think the easiest thing for me to say is yes, these stories do fit somewhere on each of their timelines, and no, don't worry about it. I don't have like a published document that has a grand design of everything that happens in Micah's and Layne's life and exactly where these stories fit. And if you're worried about where the stories will fit on the timeline, the best thing is just treat them as fun standalone stuff that don't connect to anything. And this last question, what's next now that Micah's series is done and Layne's series is ending? Yeah, I'm currently working on the last two books 6 and 7 in the Layne Parish series, and I'm actually writing book 7. I'm getting pretty close to the end, and I'm excited because I know what the last chapter, what the epilogue is going to be in the last Layne Parish book, and I'm really excited to write it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And whatever you think it is, it's probably not that. This is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to end the way Micah's series ended. Maybe that's saying too much, but that's all I'm going to say. So what's next with Micah's series and Layne's series now that their series are done? Well, like I mentioned, Nick and I have been talking about some projects that may go next on the board after I'm done writing the final Layne Parish book. There's 2 other series that I am debating which one to write. 2 series I'm debating which one to write. Lynn thinks it would be great if Nick and I wrote more books together. Well, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was really happy with how 6 Assassins came out, so I would very much be happy to work with Nick again. So what's coming after that is there's a couple of series I'm debating writing. I don't know 100% for sure yet. 2020 has been the year of things being crazy and up in the air, so it feels just kind of normal for me not to know what's coming next, but I have some ideas. Don't worry. There's not going to be a long break in Jim Heskett publications. They're going to keep coming because I'm not short of ideas. That's for sure. So Micah and Layne Get Short is coming out on October. I had to check the calendar. It's coming out on October 6th, and that has, a couple novellas, some novelettes, some short stories. But it's a hefty book. It's 75,000 words. So that's over 300 pages of short stories. And it's going to be coming out on October 6th. And when it comes out, it'll be 99 cents for probably just a couple days. And then it would go up to its regular price, which I don't know what that is yet. That's Micah and Layne Get Short. Also, if you're new to Jim Heskett, if you just go down here, whoops, my finger's huge. Let's try that again. It's reversed, so everything is weird. If you want free thriller books, you can go to jimheskett.com. Thanks for tuning in.